Hello everyone. Let's see the numerical based on the designing of the DX type of evaporator. So here is a numerical basic design of DX chiller. Some of the design details of refrigerant 20 TR DX chiller are for as follow. Effective tube length is 221.5 centimeter. Diameter of the tube is 1.905 centimeter outer diameter, 1.704 centimeter inner diameter. Number of the refrigerant passes 8. Entering water temperature is 11.1 degrees Celsius. Leaving water temperature is 7.2 degrees Celsius. Refrigerant temperature at inlet is 2.2 degrees Celsius. Condensing temperature is 43.3 degrees Celsius. The water side heat transfer coefficient, that is HO, may be taken as 4650 watt per meter square per degree Celsius. The refrigerant side coefficient may be approximated by HI, and it is given by relation 230 into delta T watt per meter square degree Celsius. Find the number of tube per pass and neglect thickness and thermal resistance of the tube wall. So here is the given data. Refrigerant used here is R22. QL is 20 TR. Length 221.5. DO 1.905 centimeter. DI is 1.704 centimeter. HO is 4650. HI is 230 delta T. Inlet water temperature 11.1 degrees Celsius. Outlet water temperature 7.2 degrees Celsius. Refrigerant temperature at inlet is 2.2 degrees Celsius and condensing temperature as 43.3 degrees Celsius. Now what we are supposed to find here is number of pass. Let's understand first what is the system is. So let's say this is your refrigerant evaporator chamber, and here is the entry of the refrigerant, and that tube is going to pass 8 times like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then it is going to come out. So one tube is going to pass 8 times. Inside the chamber. So inlet is 2.2 degrees Celsius. As this is a evaporator, so outlet will also be 2.2 degrees Celsius. From here will be the entry to the water, and here will be the exit to the water. The inlet of the water is having the temperature 11.1 degrees Celsius, and the outlet is having the temperature of 7.2 degrees Celsius. So this is what the system is. Now single tube is going to pass for 8 times inside the chamber. There can be a multiple tubes inside it, and that number we are supposed to find in this numerical. Now to solve the numerical for any heat exchanger, there are two different approaches: LMTD approach and NTU approach. Which to choose, it depends on the availability of the data. Now here you can see we have all the inlet and outlet temperatures for both the fluids. So if all the temperatures are known to us, so we are supposed to use the LMTD method, and if one of the temperature is unknown, then we are supposed to use the NTU method. So from here you can see all the temperatures are known to us, so we are supposed to use the LMTD method. Okay. Now by LMTD method we are supposed to find the number of tubes, and number of tubes, it is directly proportional to the area available, okay, for the heat transfer. And this QL, this QL is directly proportional to the area. So we know the formula for QL as QL is equal to UO, overall heat transfer coefficient, into outer area. If this is for outer heat transfer coefficient, so this should be outer area, and multiply by LMTD. Now QL is known to us, and these all things are unknown to us, but we can find the LMTD by using the formula as theta 1 minus theta 2 divided by natural log of theta 1 by theta 2. Now from here we can say theta 1, okay, and this is let's say this is theta 1 and this is theta 2. So theta 1, from here we can find that is difference between these two. So this is 5 degrees Celsius, and for this one, just a minute, let me take my calculator. So 11.1 minus 2.2, so 8.9. Okay, if we put all this value in this one, we will get this LMTD as 6.7636. okay, now LMTD is known to us, QL is known to us, so let's find UO. UO we can find it by using the formula, that is 1 upon UO is equal to 1 upon HO plus 1 upon HI into ratio of the areas. Okay, now HO is given to us in the numerical itself, and for HI the relation is given. So let's see, HO is given as 4650 watt per meter square degree Celsius, and for HI it is 230 into delta T. Now for delta T, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to take the average of this both the fluid, average temperature of both the fluid, and take the difference of that. That means 230 into water temperature, average water temperature, and average refrigerant temperature. So average water temperature from here, that is 11.1 plus 7.2 divided by 2, it will give you the average temperature as 9.15, minus here it is the refrigerant temperature, it is going to be same, so the average temperature is 2.2, and when we solve this we will get the value as 1598.5 watt per meter square. Now HO, HI is known to us, right? About the areas, diameters, you can see here diameters are given to us. These areas are the surface areas, that means this area is equal to pi dl, right? That means you can say area is directly proportional to diameter. So instead of area we can write it as 1 upon HO plus 1 upon HI into DO by DI. Now HO, HI, DO, DI all are known to us, so from this we can find overall heat transfer coefficient as 1093.31 watt per meter square. Now in this equation, UO is known to us, LMTD is known to us, QL is known to us, so we can find AO. So from here QL equal to UO, AO, LMTD, right? So this is known to us, this is known to us, this is known to us. So we can find the area, and its value is equal to 9.51 meter square, right? Now this area is a surface area, total surface area available for the heat transfer. That heat transfer area you can write it as number of passes, total number of passes multiply by pi DL, pi DOL, okay, because it is an outer area, right? So Now DO is known to us as 1.905. Length of the tube is also given to us in the numerical, you can see here. So length of the tube is also given to us. Okay, DO is given to us, AO we have just found, and from this we can found the total number of the passes, and that value is equal to 72. Okay, this is the total number of passes. Now single tube, the refrigerant tube, single refrigerant tube is how many times it has passed? 8 times. It is given in the numerical, right? So you can see here number of passes for the single tube is 8. So from here we can find the number of tubes, how many tubes are there. So that is equal to total number of passes upon number of passes per tube. So that is 72 by 8. So this will be equal to 9 tubes. Okay, so this is how we are supposed to solve the numerical. Let's see this another numerical. A DX coil is packed conditioning system has a supply volume flow rate of 2.6 meter cube per second. Air enters the coil at dBT of 25 degrees Celsius and WBT of 19.4 degrees Celsius. Calculate the total cooling capacity of the DX coil at full load and condition of the air leaving the coil. Using the following data, extended surface to the inside tube surface area ratio is 16. Boiling heat transfer coefficient of R22 inside the copper tube is 4000 at 7.2 degrees Celsius. Surface effectiveness of the weight fins is 0.76. Heat transfer coefficient of the outer surface of the coil is 73.25. Total outer surface is 56 meter square. So this is what the numerical for the air conditioning. Again, as I said, that we are supposed to first choose the which method we are supposed to use for solving this numerical. So let's see the given data. Volume flow rate of the air is given to us. Inlet condition for the air is given by using these two temperatures, that is dBT and WBT. Ratio of the area for outer area to the inner area is 60. HI is given to us. HO is also given to us. Temperature of the refrigerant is also given to us as 7.2 degrees Celsius. Efficiency of the fin is also given to us as or effectiveness of the fin is also given to us as 0.76, and total area is also given as 56 meters square. So from here we can see inlet temperature of the air is known to us and refrigerant temperature is known to us. Okay, so outlet temperature is not known to us. So from here we can say that we are supposed to use the NTU method. Now in this question, what we are supposed to find? First one, the cooling capacity. So QL is not known to us, and then second is the condition for the condition of the air leaving the coil. That means we are supposed to find the temperature of the air at outlet and humidity. Okay, that means RH. Okay, so let's see how to solve this. So let's draw this system first on the pH chart. I'm not using the actual pH chart, instead I'm using the simple schematic for that. I'll tell you the method. As WBT and dBT are known to us, we can find the initial condition. So from here you will get the WBT, okay, and here you will get the dBT. So this is 25 degrees Celsius and this is 19.4 degrees Celsius. So wherever it will intersect, that will be your initial point. Okay, now once we have got the initial point, okay, we know very well that this is the initial point, and here you can see the TR is at 7.2 degrees Celsius. So we are supposed to use this process, or you can say, you can mark this 7.2 degrees Celsius. Why here? Because it is a liquid. Okay, that means it is completely humid. Okay, so we are supposed to mark that temperature on this line where the humidity is 100%. Now once we join this line, we will get, when we join this line, we will get the actual process. Now this is the inlet for the air, and somewhere in between for this process will be your exit to your air. Okay, now this is the process for the process for the heat transfer. Okay, now as volume flow rate is known to us, we can find the mass flow rate of the air by using the volume flow rate by specific volume. Okay, now specific volume you can find from this condition. Okay, from the chart, that is from the chart you will get that specific specific volume as 0.86 meter cube per kg. Now VA is known to us, specific volume is known to us, so you can find the mass flow rate as 3.023 kg per second. Now by NTU we can as per the NTU method, we know that NTU is equal to total heat transfer coefficient into total area upon C minimum. Okay, now here again we are supposed to find the total heat transfer coefficient. Okay, as well as C minimum. Okay, and NTU, total area is given to us in the numerical itself, so we can find this C minimum by using this formula, that is C minimum is equal to mass flow rate into CPA. Okay, as this is for the air, this CP is also for the air, so mass flow rate is 3.023. okay, and CP is equal to 1.005. So we will get the value as 3.038 kilowatt per Kelvin. Now C minimum is known to us. Now the next one is of the total overall heat transfer coefficient. So you can find that by using the formula as total heat transfer coefficient into total area is equal to 1 upon HT, that means our outer total outer heat transfer coefficient into total area, outer area, into the effectiveness of the fields divided by HI into AI. Now we can rearrange the equation and we will get it as UT, 1 by UT is equal to 1 upon HT eta T plus 1 upon HI into AT by AI. Now AT by AI is also given to us in the numerical as 16. So we can put that value over here. HT is known to us, HI is known to us, and eta T is also known to us. So we can find UT by using all these values as 45.53 watt per meter square Kelvin. Now once UT is known to us, so from this equation you can see, now U2 is known to us, AT is known to us, C minimum is also known to us. So we can find NTU as by putting all this value we will get it as 0.8391. For any heat exchanger there is a particular equation for effectiveness, right? For condenser and evaporator the equation is effectiveness is equal to 1 minus e raised to minus NTU, right? So NTU is known to us, so we can put the value over here and we can find the effectiveness as 0.8391. 568. But what is effectiveness? As per the definition, it is actual temperature drop to the maximum temperature drop, right? So we can write this equation as Ti, okay, minus To upon Ti minus Tl. Okay, this Ti and To is for air, and this Ti is again for air, and this is for the refrigerant. So Ti is 25 degrees Celsius, right? To is not known to us, Ti 25, and Tl is 7.2. So from here, as effectiveness is also known to us, from here we can find To as 14.88 degree Celsius. So in this diagram, from somewhere here, you can draw a line, and this is the condition for your outlet. So you can say this is the point number O. Now to express this point, temperature is not sufficient. We are supposed to show the condition also. Okay, so from the table, from the pH chart, you can see this point, right? This point is at 90% of humidity. Okay, so here RH is equal to 90%. dBT is this one. So this is dBT as 14.88 degrees Celsius, and RH is 90%. Now the next thing is to find the cooling capacity, that is QL. So QL you can find it by mass flow rate of the air into enthalpy drop, right? So HI minus HO. Now HI minus HO you can find from this process. Whatever the enthalpy at I and O, their difference will be HI minus HO. Okay, so from the chart, HI is equal to 56, okay, kilojoule per kg, okay, and HO is 39 kilojoule per kg. Now mass flow rate is known to us, HIHO is known to us, so we can find QL, and its value is equal to 51.39 kilowatt. So this is how we are supposed to solve this numerical. Whenever we are going to start any numerical, we are first have to select the method, or we have to check which method is supposed to be used. Okay, thank you.